Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
We got a soup terrorist. Rainer's blowing a canister, and we're the most wanted in the country. But don't you worry. Daddy's home.
That's right, fans of the boys. Daddy's home. Well, perhaps we're two daddies on this show. No, wait a minute. That's going completely the wrong way. Here is the Stuff and Things podcast. I am Sam. Joining me and feeling slightly awkward, it's Stefan.
Top of the morning. How you doing, buddy?
No, you can't say that. You're not Irish.
Oh, okay. Just how you doing? Good morning.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're not allowed. It's copyrighted. We own that.
I don't know where it came from.
You now owe a guy in Limerick 50p. You better pay up as
damn
well. He's an evil sod. But yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to our show discussing The Boys Season 4 finale, quite literally. Now, we have a tradition on this show where I ask Stefan the title of the episode, and he will invariably get it right. Sometimes gets it wrong, which is kind of funny, or sometimes says it wrong. I
reckon I've got a good 85% success rate, I reckon.
I think so. Ever since you switched to loading IMDb on your phone as we started, you have.
So much easier, yeah.
Now, so I'm actually going to start this episode on a little bit of a somber tone and a little bit more of a serious tone because I think it needs that. So, The Boys, obviously, Season 4 was filmed some time ago. This is a kind of show where it's planned well in advance, filmed well in advance because of the sheer level of CGI, etc. that goes into it. So the post-production on The Boys is massive.
Yep.
That means that anything that happens in the show, which then seems to mirror world events, is really coincidental. And obviously they do stuff, which we'll talk about in this episode even, which is not thinly veiled anymore. They are literally taking shots at people. And it's funny. I mean, It is funny. But one of the things that isn't funny, obviously, is the attempt on former President Donald Trump's life. For anyone who's got any kind of perspective on American politics, and I know we have a lot of American listeners, I think everyone will kind of agree that no one actually ever wishes anybody dead. And this episode was originally titled Assassination Run, which was obviously all about someone taking a run at the president in the show. Now, the storyline obviously couldn't be changed. It was filmed, it was in the can, it was done. But with the title of the episode, they could change it. So they did literally change it on all social platforms and everything, IMDb at the last minute, to simply Season 4 finale. So for anyone wondering, like, why their Amazon isn't updating correctly, why isn't it showing me the episode title, that's why. Now, around the world, it was just curious. In the USA, I am told that there was actually a message at the start explaining this and sort of giving a little bit of a potential trigger warning, I guess, that, like, look, this is part of our story. It's been in the can for months. Obviously, you know, if you feel that this is going to be a bit too close to home right now, please maybe watch it at a different time, which I think's fair enough. And I think everyone who's of sound mind would understand that this obviously isn't anything like that, and certainly isn't, regardless of anyone's political leanings or regardless of what you think the show is, or it's a lefty, it's a right, or whatever you think, there's certainly no malice involved to that extreme anyway. So I want to cover that. I want to just sort of get that out of the way. Now, onto a funnier thing before we jump into the show. Me and Stefan, for a number of weeks now, have been doing 3 shows a week. I think it's roughly 5 weeks we've been doing 3 shows. Prior to that, it was 2 shows a week. So we obviously, a big thank you to anyone who's listening to all of them, by the way. It's incredibly kind. We really do appreciate it. But obviously, they're very different shows. We've been talking about a Star Wars show called The Acolyte. We're talking about The Boys, which we're talking about today. House of the Dragon. So they're 3 very different shows. So we do have potentially 3 very different audiences, and based on the numbers listening, they are different.
Yes.
But I just want to let everybody know that on a previous show this week, we were joking about how the episode title for Star Wars The Acolyte was left as Episode 8 for ages on all of their socials and everything, and didn't update literally until the last moment where we were able to go, okay, it's called that, all right, it's called The Acolyte, brilliant, all right. How original.
Yeah.
And we made a joke.
Season finale, give it the same name as the name of the show.
Yeah.
Woo!
Now, we made a joke, didn't we? Do you remember the joke we made?
I did. Can you imagine if the boys just call the season finale?
Yeah. So we literally said that, and then I load up yesterday to watch, and it says season 4 finale, and I'm like, yeah, but what's it called? And it says there, like, season 4, episode 8, title, season 4 finale. I'm like, no way. That is bizarre. So until I found out the real reason, I was laughing my head off. I thought, oh my God, this is so funny. And the real reason, obviously, not very nice. So, that behind us, let's dive into the episode, because like Hughie, it's a bit of a roller coaster.
Kind of just this episode, yeah. You messaged me. You watched this episode before I did.
Yeah.
And you messaged me like, yeah, this is going to take a day or so for me to kind of work out what the hell. So, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, okay, how bad can it be? And then the episode finished, and I was like, dude, I don't know how to feel.
Okay, so let's take the gloves off as well. I'm going to say this: The Boys as a show has a lot of bad language in it. We as a podcast, when we're discussing the show, use that bad language and also drop a fair bit ourselves, because we're talking about a show in the context and it needs it. I'm going to tell you right now. Now, look, if you're really offended by that, I apologise. It's all part of my
If you watch The Boys and you get offended by anything we say, be amazed.
Don't. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. But I certainly don't ever mean to offend anyone, but I'm just going to be completely honest now. The very thing I sent him as the message ended was just one word: fuck. Yeah. And when I wrote my notes, so what I do, and I've said this before, is I will write and scribble out things I want to focus on for the podcast. Like, oh, okay, I think that's something we need to do. And typically, when I watch an episode of any sort of TV, I will then put that into like a bullet points, and then I will try and create a running order for the podcast. Like, okay, this is a natural way to go through it. I wrote down, whilst watching that episode, fuck. That is literally all I wrote. Because every time I would look at something and think, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's taken a really dark, oh, okay, fuck. And then I'd be like, oh, wow, this has happened. Oh, that's incredible. And then my brain would go, but the tone of this episode isn't good. So, oh, fuck. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it felt like, now you said something to me yesterday, because we were both struggling to kind of, how do we feel about this? Because we don't feel happy. Like, you watch this show at the end of it, oh, this is such a great show. And we're not saying it was a bad episode, not by any stretch. It was fantastic. But it's like, what emotion have I been left with here? Because none of this was good. Like, there's no ray of hope in any of this. And you actually equated it to something, which I'll let you say, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, this was very much, for me, the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of all built to this big event. Very much like The Boys has kind of built to the end of this season 4.
Yeah.
From season 1 with what happened to where it is now, it's all been building. Yeah. And it was very much, to me, like Infinity War.
Yeah.
At the end of Infinity War, the good guys have lost. Like, there's no other way around it. The bad guys have won.
Yeah.
The good guys have been defeated. They're all kind of split up. We have no idea what's going to happen. And you're kind of left going, well, surely the good guys always win. So next season, as we awaited a year for Endgame to come out, and when Endgame came out, everyone was like, well, we know the good guys are going to win, right? Right? Yeah. Surely, they must. I mean, that just set us up. The good guys must win. And I've left this episode, and I was like, well, the good guys are, surely they're going to win in season 5.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and go, however,
no, this is
Butcher.
Fun.
Butcher is the leader of the good guys, and he is definitely now He's been kind of questionable the whole way through, but he is definitely now not a good guy.
Off the reservation.
Yeah,
we're going to dive
in quotations. We're going to split up.
We're going to dive into this in more detail. So hang on to that. But one of the other things when we were talking about this, and I think you making the Infinity War comparison was perfect. I remember watching that film and it ending, and like a cinema full of people like looking at each other like, hang on a minute, I came here to watch a superhero movie and the superheroes got their asses kicked. What? Like, hang on, like, so half the world's dead. What? And it was just like, everyone was just like, okay, well, and then there was just mad theories like, well, how does this get undone then? Because surely not. And then I remember the start of Endgame being like 5 years later and people just being like, oh my God, they didn't fix it. Like, like it was like, oh my God. So it's kind of that feeling, that Infinity War moment is exactly like you hit the nail on the head with that for me. I finished this episode and was just sat there like, oh shit. I didn't know where to put the emotion. Now me and you had a conversation about that, which was funny. Because you said to me about, and then they're gonna have the end game moment and everything like that where the heroes win. And I pointed you towards a quote from the show's creator, Eric Kripke, where someone asked him quite deliberately about, does this show have a happy ending sort of thing? And he said, of course it does. Superheroes always win in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whose happy ending are we can we get?
Yeah, now he's done a lot of press following, obviously, for season 4, and one of the other things he said is like season 5 is basically Homelander getting his big wish. It's like the boys' version of the apocalypse.
God.
Yeah.
Have you ever been so worried and nervous and yet excited and looking forward to a TV show ever? Because season 5, I'm genuinely terrified about what is going to happen in season 5 after the end of this episode.
Well,
but my God, I can't wait.
I think the thing that this episode did to me, which is great writing, is it followed these characters that I've known for 4 seasons, where all of them, I'm wondering if they're going to die. Because I kept thinking to myself, someone's going to die at the end of season 4. Someone big's going to die. So I'm following this, and I'm kind of like, oh no, this has happened. That was a sweet moment. Damn, they're dead. This person's dead. So I've worked my way through this, and when the episode ended, the one thing I had was, okay, they're all okay. French is not okay, but we'll come on to that. But I'm kind of like, okay, all right, everyone. And then I realised season 5 is the end. We are going to see the end of these characters. And I don't think, like, I this is just purely opinion, but if you think this show's got to come by a happy ending, I don't think you've been watching the same show.
Like, I desperately want the ending to be MM with his wife and daughter on the beach, sipping rum out of a coconut shell, and, MM survived and got away and got the life he deserves. I have a horrible feeling that actually by the end of it, we're going to see MM's funeral.
Well, I think we're going to see Butcher drinking out of MM's skull or something.
Yeah, I'm really quite concerned. So we've made this joke, I think, on a lot of different podcasts of a lot of different shows.
Yeah.
As soon as 2 people say certain things or certain things happen, you go, oh crap, you're dead.
Yeah.
Frenchie and Kimiko finally having the proper kiss and realising they're meant to be together.
Yeah.
Instantly, I was messaging you like, nope, they're dead.
Yeah.
Damn it. No, they're like, oh, they're 2 of my favourite characters. Damn it, they're dead.
Actually, worse than death, what happens?
It is worse than, I think it is. And then we see Kimiko show the phone and you're like, oh no, she's happy.
Mate, let's dive into it, because we're now we're now hopping into details, which I didn't want to do until we jumped in. So let's dive in. I want to start with Hughie. Hughie is in an interesting position where anyone who's dated a twin has always had that curiosity of like, which one am I banging? No, just me? Okay. But Hughie is with a shifter. This
Yes.
is we learned this at the end of the last episode, and she proposes to Hughie. Hughie goes off and gets the ring, and then to celebrate, she takes him to bed.
2 fingers was a lot, though. Yeah.
2 fingers was a lot, though. Poor Hughie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like sometimes there's lines put into this show, and I think you
Didn't need that.
You didn't need to
Didn't
do
need that
that.
one.
So that poor actor, that was unnecessary, and you know it. Hughie. See, this is one of those things. I think everybody doing this would like to think they could work this out quickly. Don't you think, like, your partner's been replaced, they're sort of acting like them but not like them? I think everyone would like to think they'd work it out pretty fast.
I mean, I reckon I could work it out really quickly.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as my wife smiled, I would know, wait a minute. Yeah, I think, certain telltales,
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm just clipping that to sender. There we go. Right.
That's going to be in the group chat later.
Yeah, it will. So I don't know, like, because obviously when Starlight does get free, she's pretty pissed at him to start with, and I'm kind of on the fence about it, because I'm like, it was literally a shifter who not only mirrored you to the last detail, also had your memories, so was able to quote things that, so even if little bits of behaviour seemed off, you'd have been like, well, that's strange, but you wouldn't instantly jump to, that's not her, because surely you wouldn't think the shifter had that ability. Now, me and you discussed that, like, oh, it must be some sort of transfer, but they did tell us that in this episode in a clever way, where the shifter started losing it a bit, had to go back to Starlight to sort of touch her to recharge, she puts it.
Yeah, the skin's starting to kind of flake a little bit and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I thought that was perhaps the ring. I thought, oh, perhaps there's a certain metal that the shifter, the shifter's like gets revealed due to that metal or something, but no, it was like just needed recharging.
Yeah, which was gross.
But it was interesting then.
Kind of cool.
What did you think of the confrontation then between Starlight and the shifter, where the shifter's like, I know you, I can sense all of this in you. Oh, poor little Annie, it's never your fault and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
It was great. Yeah. Like, just the way that they were kind of portraying it across, and like, she's trying, no, that's not me. She's like, I'm in your head. I know your thoughts. I know exactly what you are thinking. And it's like, oh, that is scary. That's a scary thought process, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, because obviously we know it's the same actress, do you think that would be fun to do? Like, to sort of, this character, and then you get to kind of do a different version of the character being an asshole. Do you think that'd be fun?
I reckon she must have loved doing that. Like, that must be so much fun to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you are able to have the acting ability to play 2 like completely different personalities.
Yeah.
In the same person. You had the actual Annie, who was kind of like angry but scared and wanting freedom and to get out.
Yeah.
And then you had this like, I'm not psychopath. What was it she says? You're a psychopath. No, I'm a sociopath.
Yeah.
I thought that was good, but to be able to play those, that must have been a lot of fun.
I think anyone who understands the definition of psychopath and sociopath and identifies themselves as one or the other is dangerous.
They know the difference, and I know what I am.
Yeah, I'm not a psychopath. I'm a sociopath. Duh. Now, obviously that progresses, which we'll come on to, but I just want to talk about Frenchie and Kimiko. So, I said earlier in this season, and man, did I get hate for this. I always thought those two would end up together. I thought it was a romantic, long-term, deep kind of love. And then she kind of pushed him to that guy, and he started a relationship, and she seemed happy for him or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I really misread that. I genuinely thought it was like a real deep love between them, but just weren't acting on it because of circumstances. But damn, okay, I misjudged it. Obviously, it was a deep, deep love and friendship, family. In this episode, I feel completely vindicated, and fuck you all who sent me in every email calling me an idiot.
Yeah, we called it. You
Yeah.
called it. We called it. Yeah.
Frenchie and Kimiko, it was probably one of the nicest moments for me in the series. There's something about Kimiko being so ridiculously deadly, so ridiculously OP, and yet so unbelievably cute and sweet at the same time. That character, to me, is fantastic. Like, there's this scene where they have this bunker fight and they return to Frenchie and they're all looking battered and beat up. And he's like, oh my God, what happened to you guys? And she just whacks this smile on her face and waves at him like, hi.
Yeah.
It was, it just, absolutely loved it. So those two finally admitting how they felt to each other, I'm guessing was the moment that you were like, shit, they're dead.
Yeah, that was it. That was the one of them. Not both of them. It's always one of them.
Yeah. I also did like the very girly moment of her showing Annie on her phone a French flag and like a little heart thing, and Annie being like, oh, and she's like, chill, bitch, don't make a scene, damn. I love that. That was good.
Yep.
The next thing I want to talk about as an interaction is where we did lose one of the main characters from the boys, and that is Mallory. Butcher, Ryan. Butcher is he's dying. She walks in. I assume he's in a hospital initially, but we then
That's what I thought. Yep.
We then learn he's not. He's in a CIA facility that has been built to house Soups. And she basically has a plan to either get Ryan on side or lock him up in there.
Yeah,
which I I can't wrap my head around at all. Like, I'm kind of, she lost her grandkids. She basically took him on, lost him. I think she genuinely cares for him. And yet got this so horrific. Like, when Butcher's the person who is making sense and is kind
that's when you got to worry, isn't it?
Well, that's when you got to question what the hell's going on with the other person, because he identified, whether it's the clarity of being that close to death, like he's got Kessler there, like, just say the word, and I'll soup you up and we'll get out of here and do our job. And he's like, no, I'm going to die and you're going with me. And Kessler's just there the whole time, just basically staring at him like, I'm your option. Come on. You don't have to die.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And so when Ryan arrives and he's talking to him, and Kessler's like, kill the little fucker. Like, you know, Kessler's just like, let's get him gone. Let's do this shit. But Butcher just completely is just, Ryan, we need to chat. We need to do this. And he's winning. Like, Butcher is genuinely making Ryan see the point of, look, if you genuinely think you're safer with Homelander, then go. I made a promise to your mother to keep you safe, and that's what I want to do. And then he, this is the bit, he's like, oh, I just want to go get some air, I just need some time to think. And she stops him.
At that moment, I'm like, I genuinely believe, if she had let him walk out, get some air,
they had a chance.
He would have come back and gone, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
He just needed to go have a bit of time just to think it all through.
Yeah, considering what Homelander had done earlier in front of him, just because he found that picture, like, wrecked the Fort Tower penthouse, all because of the picture of Butcher and his mum, and like, was like, come here, and Ryan's like, no, you're fucked. I'm not coming near you.
Yeah, you look like you're about to go mental, so I'm gonna stay away.
Yeah, you're unstable, grey pubes. So, can you imagine if someone called him that? Jesus. So,
oh man,
I am just of this kind of weird. It's a weird thing because What happens next, for me, feels out of character for two characters.
Okay.
Her stopping him and acting like you got no choice, we're going to lock you in here, didn't feel like something she'd do when she cares that about him.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When he accidentally launched a guy and killed him, he was really upset by it. And yet in this, he literally kills a woman who was raising him and just kind of gives it almost like a Homelander-esque smirk, like, humans.
And walks out.
Yeah. Now,
And that's what worries me, is that has she, by doing what they've just done, has that just tipped him over the edge? Like, they were winning until she said, no, this place was built to hold people like you in here. Yeah. And he suddenly felt trapped and caged, and all of a sudden she has just made him realise that what Homelander says is right. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're sitting there going, oh shit. I mean, has he just tipped over the edge? Is he now going to be Team Homelander?
Yeah, I mean, it is what, for me, puts the nail in Billy Butcher. And for me, and this is just me, Butcher dies in that moment. And now we've got Butcher 2.0, a.k.a. Kessler.
Yeah, now I was going to say to actually, probably towards the end of the podcast more, but we say about we expected a character to die. Like, we were expecting a big death. Yeah. I think we got it.
Yeah.
I think we got the big character death was actually Butcher, because now we have, we have Kessler instead of Butcher now in his body.
See, the reason why I feel that is because there's a moment later on which we're going to come on to, but I'm just going to touch on this bit now, is when Butcher goes to Hughie and Hughie invokes Lenny's name.
Yes.
And just moves him out of the way. Like, Butcher...
The hand on the shoulder moves him, and you're like, oh, no, wait a minute.
That's not Billy anymore.
No.
He'd either gone, shut up, you cunt, or something to him, like, don't be saying that. Or he'd have looked at Hughie like, what? He'd have acknowledged it.
But he didn't. He just moves him out of the way and goes forward.
He was just transfixed with one mission in mind, and that's Kessler's mission. So the next thing I want to talk about, because I'm sort of working my way through this, is Homelander outing Newman on TV. What did you think of that?
Boom. What a moment that was.
That was messed up.
That was the moment I started to worry for Victoria's character.
Oh, okay.
That was when Homelander did that.
Yeah.
That's when I kind of went, she ain't going to like that. She's going to try and run.
Yeah.
I expected, literally in that moment, I thought she was going to die.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be Homelander that killed her.
Okay. Well, he makes pretty horrific threats.
Yeah, that was the moment. I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, he makes some horrific threats, and then she turns to Hughie. But before that, I just want to talk about the attempt on the president in the show. Now, I mentioned this before, and I'm just going to do this because it's kind of funny to me. So there's a TV show called Supernatural, created by Eric Kripke, who does The Boys. The character in that called Bobby Singer, and there's a character in this played by the same actor called President-elect Bobby Singer, Robert Singer. Yes. And he famously, in the show Supernatural, would refer to the Winchester boys as idiots all the time. Ah, yeah, idiots, like that. And he's playing indoor mini golf, and he looks up at Mother's Milk. If you just killed her like I asked you to, this wouldn't be happening, you bunch of idiots. And I was gone. I was just like, oh, that's such a stupid reference. That's so funny.
There it is.
And then he's like, misses, he's like, balls, which is another thing he used to say. So it was for anyone who's a fan of the two shows, that was a nice moment. But of course, we know the person in the bunker who is Starlight. And everyone's sort of carrying on, and this, by the way, the shifter, the sociopath, like, oh my god, who do you think it could be? You really think it could be anyone in here? Oh my god. I'm like, oh wow, this is so funny.
Yeah.
And then
You really think there's someone in here? Yeah.
And then
So,
she says something about it being hot like a furnace in there. And Hughie clocks that's the exact wording the shifter said when Annie found it that day. And it penny drops hard and his face. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go get some water. Want some? Oh, yes. I love some water. Face forward. I mean, that scene was so funny.
Yeah. What? Don't look at me. Don't look
forward. That pair of idiots could not keep a poker face at all.
So, I don't know if it was meant to be funny or not, but it bloody was.
It was funny. It had. I mean, they were just staring at her.
What are you staring at? Oh, I know. What do you mean? You know, engaged. Oh, congratulations! Yeah. Looking at Hughie like, what the fuck have you done?
Yeah. And then they're both like looking back at her, and of course,
that's something that happened. Yeah.
Of course, she then realizes, shit, they've worked out. So all hell breaks loose. The shifter is just taking bullets like a damn Terminator, still coming. Ripping people, like, it's a lot of very cool deaths. A lot of Secret Service just biting the bullet here.
Yeah, it's one of those ones of like, we knew that her ability was to shapeshift, and then as this kind of goes through, we kind of work out, oh, okay, so she can shapeshift. Oh, she's bulletproof. Okay, add that one to. Oh, she's got like very good fighting skill and obviously very, very strong, right?
Yeah.
Add that skill as well. You can do this list of like reasons why the boys are fucked.
Basically, a perfect assassin. Now, Kimiko is assigned to the president, which is
makes
very,
sense. That's
very smart, other than the fact she's mute. So they're trying to get out of the place, and the president's like, help, and she's like pointing this way, that way.
Yes.
Kimiko fights the shifter and really struggles. It's quite a good fight, but the shifter gets on top.
Hey, she loses. She's the neck snapped.
Yeah, neck snapped.
That's a loss.
Yeah. And then Hughie and are basically between the president and the shifter, who's walking towards us. And by the way, Hughie's shooting at her, missing initially, and then putting a couple of rounds into her. See, now if I was Starlight and all the stuff that happened, that would be something that'd be playing on my mind as well. Like, how much did he enjoy doing that?
Yeah, you definitely shot at me quite a lot. Was that something you enjoyed shooting at me for? What the hell?
Now, Starlight does show up. Now, Annie, we've seen, has been struggling with her powers quite a lot. But he's obviously still a soup, still very strong, still trained. And what I found amusing in this is she didn't fight like a suit. I mean, she's got the superpowers. I thought she fought like one of the boys. Like
she felt like it was like dirty fighting.
Knee to the head, punch to the back of the head, like. And I kind of liked that. I kind of thought that was interesting. That was good. And she wins the fight and literally kills her.
And it was like a like you say, like the boys. It was like a nasty killer. Like the whole just strangling with the arm, just holding her down.
Yeah,
you're like
seeing the legs twitch until they stop.
Yeah, that's a nasty kind of. Yeah. Can you say nasty way to die in the boys? Like, everybody's a nasty.
And then Kimiko gets up, straightening her neck, and just like thumbs up. Yay!
Oh, hey, you're back.
Well done.
Yeah,
you killed it. We then so Newman gets his text. Contacts Hughie. She's terrified. Yes. All the threats from Homelander, and she's trusting Hughie. And the way she's like, "You can trust me. I'm going to tell you where my daughter is. I'm trusting you with my daughter." And I'm like, "Wow, okay." Newman is fully with that. And I said to you before, I'm not sure what side she's really on. I think possibly her own, but what an ally she's going to be.
Yeah, that moment is kind of like, okay, she's fully now. She's not fully Team Boys. She's Team Hughie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, this is really good, and they bring him in, and they've got him there, the daughter and her, and I'm like, this is really good. And then one of the things that happens whilst all this is going on is Starlight kind of confronts Hughie about his time with the shifter.
She's not happy, I think is one way to put it.
What did you think about that? Like, I completely get why she's pissed, but at the same time, he had no like how many times did you fuck her? Oh well,
Definitely less than 20.
It definitely less than 20. I'm
20.
like, in 10 days? Oh, that's what you want then? You just want a version of me that just, drops it for you whenever you want. He's like, no, oh my god. Like, seriously, dude, you're so fucked.
Yeah, nothing he said was helping, was it?
No.
Like, I like the fact that Hughie's an honest person, less than 20. He should have said once.
Yeah, how many times did she tell you? Because that was it. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
she she does wrap her head around it, and I think she does realise he had no idea. Like he did work out.
And the way she says
Forgives
about
him. Yeah, you are getting tested for everything because I am not catching shifter chlamydia, and that cracked me out, man.
Yeah, and Hughie's like, "Fuck yeah, yes!"
Yeah, and he's like, "Yes, Hughie, yes!" Oh, bless him. He's still like this adorable little dork.
Yeah, so funny.
From that adorable dork moment to the darkest moment in the boys for me.
Fuck yeah.
Butcher, aka Kessler, arrives, and we now find out how he was able to rip what's his name apart, and he does have that tumor.
Ezekiel, yeah.
Remember that rabbit we saw, and he stamped on it?
Yeah.
He literally has that inside him, and it flew out of his chest, lifted up Newman, and ripped her apart.
I was quite sad about this.
I was I was gutted.
I said earlier, like, as soon as she kind of had that thing with Homelander, I thought she was going to be dead. I did not expect it to be in this situation.
No.
I was like, when Butcher walks in, no deal. And I'm like, no, it's okay. He's going to be explained, kind of. Did you also, for me, I don't know if this was just me thinking it or if it was a thing. He went from being in the hospital, like his beard's got some grey in it. He looked very old and stuff. At the doorway, he looked straight back to season 1, fit, healthy Butcher.
He looked healthy.
I was like, that was a recovery and a half.
Well,
and then
Kessler said to him, didn't he? He said, like, you hand over to me, I'll heal you, I'll sort you out.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then he kind of opened, like, he pushes Hughie out the way, and I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? And then he grabs Newman and just rips her in half, and it's like,
we've been theorising these things, and I had this dark theory that Butcher could be the final boss, and I was so upset. Like, he's the character I have loved from the start. I was so, like, I would have rather he died in the hospital. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
100%. 100% would rather have that
when he
than
said,
what I think we're going to get.
When he said to, like, I had this lovely image of Hughie and the boys go into this topless restaurant or whatever it is and raising a glass to Lenny and Butcher, and that being like a finale thing.
Yeah.
And no, of course not. There's no happy or melancholy ending. It's just, no, I don't like this. It was awful. He leaves by taking the virus. Frenchie has the opportunity to shoot him with it, but doesn't.
Because he's Butcher, Frenchie just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know when you're like, that's going to be a decision that comes back and haunts everyone.
Yeah, of course it is.
5 minutes later, oh fuck.
Well, of course it is, but at the same time, I do understand it. Frenchie doesn't do it. He takes it. He leaves. The final scene we see of Butcher is him driving in his car, and we have no idea where he's going, what his next plan is, but it ain't gonna be good.
I like the visualization of that, like, Butcher's in the front seat driving, and Kessler is very much the back seat driver. I thought the visualization of that was brilliant.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Sorry. Coughing fit, no good.
Sorry, buddy.
On my notes, I have the Vault Massacre.
Yes. Yeah.
So Homelander says to Ashley, I need a list of everyone at Vault who has got dirt on any of the 7, mostly me, but any of the 7, and I need it yesterday. And she's like, okay, I'll get right on it. He's like, good girl, Ashley. And she's got this kind of like, okay, shit. She puts together the list, gives it to him, and smartly lingers at the door. Homelander basically instructs his minions, see this list of people? Yeah, they all need to die by the end of the day. And he's like, well, surely if this
remove them from the list permanently.
Surely if this is a list of people who've got dirt on us, then Ashley should be at the top. And Homelander, who literally just got her to do the list and told her she was a good girl, went, oh, yeah, put her top. Anyone know her last name? And she runs. And I'm like, get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there, Ashley. And she doesn't. She runs to his room and takes Compound V, which actually, when I think about it, was probably her only way out. But I have no idea what it's doing to her because it didn't look good.
It did not look pleasant, that's for sure.
No.
Like, her brain was expanding and it looked awful.
I had a kind of very, very funny idea. Obviously, all of these characters we see in The Boys is kind of based on characters you see in DC or Marvel. And I was trying to think of a comic book character that Ashley could be a version of that would actually be really funny. Like, for it to be Ashley to be this version. And the character, like, when you're looking at her going through this sort of thing and all expanding, clothes ripping.
Yeah.
I thought, how funny would it be if she becomes a Hulk-type character? Like, they're trying to kill her. They find her on the street or something. Little Ashley, who's this timid, ripping her own hair out, had to wear a wig because of the stress they put her under. They try and kill her, and she, like, hulks up.
Hulks out at them. Oh, my God.
Now, I got no idea, but I just thought that would be the funniest thing. Like, the Deep just gets his ass handed to him, which he deserves. He's awful. The Deep and Noir do go around just killing everyone. That Ashley wasn't even on the list. Oh, there's so many Ashleys in this building.
Oh my God! Yeah, the poor assistant getting like katanas through the stomach. Yeah.
It was,
wrong Ashley. Bro.
They're the worst. And Deep getting that guy to say, "You're the smartest one in the 7. You're the best." Oh, great! And then punching straight through his skull. It was awful. Now, because of the attempt on, so basically political ramblings start moving on. Homelander thinks it's all gone wrong. Newman has been, killed and all this stuff. The Bobby Singer seems to be, he's like about to become president. He'll get a new vice president, and all this stuff's happening. And then Sage walks in, and Sage is like, "Don't you worry, this is all part of my plan."
Sage, oh mate, the coolest person on the planet at that time. She's like, "Oh yeah, I planned this."
Like, she's the one they need to take out more than anyone right now. She walks in and she points out that no, I realised that this could happen, so I set a different plan in motion, and I kept it to myself so you couldn't fuck it up by being you. And he like looks at her for a minute, and he's clearly like about to be saying something, and then the very smashed TV suddenly has footage of the president saying, "Oh, if you just killed Newman when I asked you to," and all of a sudden he's out arrested. Newman's gone, and the Speaker of the House is sworn in as the next president. And we all know that guy is literally a puppet, and she hands him a phone. Here's the next president of the United States who's ringing to swear allegiance to you. We see a press conference where they announce martial law, and Homelander takes over the press conference from the president, basically showing that he's nothing but a puppet, announcing that an army of superheroes now will basically come down and hunt the Starlighters and do all this. We're seeing a montage of our group basically trying to get away, fake passports, and all going in different directions, saying goodbye to each other. And we then have scene after scene where they are taken. MM is taken by Love Sausage. I mean, that's just cruel.
I felt that was like, this is a really sad scene. Love Sausage. I was like, they didn't need to do that.
They didn't need to do that to that guy again. The giant penis on the shoulder is just unnecessary.
Tapping him on the shoulder, then knocking him out. Yeah. Oh, no.
We see that probably the most heartbreaking was Kimiko and Frenchie. Two characters from Gen V. One of them, if you don't know this, has the ability to basically whisper in your ear and you obey her. You literally...
It's a touch, isn't it? That's why she has to wear the gloves. Yeah, she
touch
can
as well.
You. That's it.
And not only does she have that ability, she can literally wipe his mind. Like, so we talk about deaths in this, we potentially just lost Frenchie. Like, potentially he is now gone in a drone and just... We will never get that character back. We don't know yet, but the way he marches off like a drone and Kimiko shouts after him, she speaks. Mate,
oh, the heartbreak. Yeah. Mate, the heartbreak. Kimiko finally talking.
What are you doing? What are you doing to us? This is awful. So Kimiko and Frenchie are taken in different ways, but they're taken. MM is taken. Hughie is taken. But Starlight actually manages to get away because her powers have sort of come back as she's, I don't know, sort of got herself back feeling like herself, I guess. And Hughie tells her, like, go. Like, just go. Don't fight, just go.
The fucking boat falling out of the sky. I was like, what the shit? Yeah.
Well, I was nervous that it was actually Homelander throwing a boat at him in that moment because obviously...
At first, yeah.
Yeah. All of them are taken... Butcher's out there, Starlight's out there, very different agendas. All the allies are gone or dead. The CIA is now in control of a puppet of Homelander, so they're not any help anymore. There's no part of it at all. And the last scene I'm going to discuss is Homelander going to visit Daddy. He finds Soldier Boy.
Mate, we finally see Soldier Boy. Like, we've been waiting. I think we've mentioned him 2 or 3 times this season. Yeah. Like, a couple of times we've said, he's going to appear. Is he going to appear? Is Homelander going to find out he's still there?
Yeah.
Literally, like, one of the final scenes is that. And you're like,
here's a question for you. Homelander looks genuinely emotional seeing him. The last time they saw each other, Soldier Boy was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Do you think he lets him out? And, like, it says, Butcher and all that lot betrayed you. This is the situation now. I'm running the fucking show. Join up. Or do you think he leaves him in there as a kind of like, ha ha ha. Like, my thing about, like, Soldier Boy's an asshole. A monumental asshole.
Yep.
But he is probably one of the only characters out there who could take down Homelander. So why would he let him out?
Is there anyone better to have in charge of all your armies than the Soldier Boy?
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see this going. Is okay, Homelander's in charge of, in quotations, the government. And he has Soldier Boy in charge of the army.
I mean, I think
it's the only way I can see it going.
I mean, I think we're definitely going to see him in season 5. I just don't know on what capacity.
Yeah. Oh, mate, season 5 is going to be poor.
Well, with the cameos from the Gen V cast, it would appear that they are still setting it up that the next season we are getting is Gen V next year. Now, Gen V originally was going to go into filming and then post-production, and the idea was it would be early 2025 with the season 5 of The Boys late 2025. Due to all the circumstances involved, and I think the sheer level of post-production on season 4 as well, they have now shifted it that we are going to get Gen V next year, season 2, and then we are going to get the final season of The Boys in 2026.
Yeah, I think
so. We gotta wait.
It's a long wait.
It's certainly going to feel that way. Yeah.
2 years is a long time. I understand having the season in between and stuff.
Yeah,
but I do feel like that's a hell of a long wait.
I think the thing is with modern TV, which a lot of people like, the budgets now are insane. Like, they want to create TV with movie-like quality, which I appreciate. I love that. But you gotta wait.
We'd be out of a job if we didn't. Yeah.
Well, you gotta wait. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot get that level. And think of the amount of times we watch shows that kept it every year, and we'd pick holes in shit.
Well, that's true.
And we'd be like, oh my God, like literally that deer looks like Bambi someone's drawn on, or oh, that guy just stood up on a hill and looked over and it's blatantly a picture someone's holding up and stuff like that. So
yeah, why has that guy just walked into a room 4 times? Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Like
Whereas this, you can't fault any of that stuff on this. I think
you want it to be finished to a high standard because you're enjoying it that much. And so for me, it's like, yeah, crap, but what I am going to do, and I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to commit to this now, is I have not rewatched The Boys. I haven't. I know you're sort of doing it a bit now. But
I've got I don't know wisely or not, but I've got my in-laws watching it.
Yeah,
now,
I think this is
my father-in-law had watched seasons 1 to 3 anyway. Yeah. He wanted to watch season 4, but because it had been a while, he was like, I'm going to rewatch them all before I watch it. He doesn't do a podcast. He has no rush to watch them. It's fine.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to watch the first 3 seasons again and then watch season 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'll jump in and out and kind of watch some with you as well and bits like that. And I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I forgot just how fucking good this was.
Yeah.
Like, just how good.
From day one.
And from day one. And my mother-in-law has been like, oh, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't mind a bit of blood and gore. I can watch that. I tell you what, she is absolutely fucking loving it. Like,
that's
every evening, the kids go to bed and she looks at me father and goes, do you want a couple of episodes of The Boys before you go for a shower? Wow. I'm like, every night she's like, do you want a couple of episodes? Well, she is fucking loving it. Considering the last show I got her to watch was Ted Lasso, and she was binge watching Ted Lasso, to now go from that to The Boys, I'm like, wow, okay.
Just goes to show you got great taste in television, my friend.
Yeah, no.
What I was just saying was I'm going to commit to basically I will do, once they announced season 5's this date, I'm going to work it out and rewatch everything right up to it, so when it launches I'm like going straight in.
Bang straight, yeah.
Okay, that is our show. That is The Boys season 4 wrapped. I think every season of this show is phenomenal. I don't think I can rank them one over the other, but I just feel like it constantly just gets better, ups the ante, and as the longer
ups the wall.
the longer you know the characters as well, the greater the emotional stakes, and so now it really feels like it's going to have an impact, everything that's to come. Mate, is there anything else you want to cover before we go?
I don't think so.
Excellent. Until we return to discuss The Boys, potentially Gen V. Sorry, everyone. Potentially Gen V next year, and then The Boys season 5 the year after. Keep an eye on our socials. We'll keep you updated. So until then, everybody, you all take care.
And where we go one, we go Vort.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.
What's Sporty Spice up to? Who? Sporty fucking Spice. What's she up to? I don't know. Exactly. How about Posh? You know what she's doing?
I don't understand.
Making clothes for anorexics, right? Not exactly a growth market. And Baby, you know what she's doing? Fuck all. Not even page 6 of the Daily Mail. And Scary Spice, up to her eyeballs in lawsuits and sex tapes. Ginger, on the other hand, has released 3 albums: Passion, Schizophrenic, and Scream If You Want to Go Faster. They'll all make your ears bleed. You see, when they're apart, they're absolute fucking rubbish. But you put them together, they're the goddamn fucking Spice Girls.